stimulus checks, and next Tuesday's major announcement. We've been hearing a lot about stimulus checks recently, most notably the $2,000 announced by the president a little over a month ago, as well as all the people within the administration who have also been coming out doubling down on the distribution of that $2,000. However, if you've been watching the videos for a while now, you've been hearing me talk about many different catalysts that are out there that could distribute additional stimulus checks to us above and beyond that $2,000 that the president talked about again a little over a month ago. Well, I want to point out the major announcement coming out next Tuesday that we certainly need to pay attention to very, very closely, because this is one of the key factors that helps determine the distribution and/or approval of any type of stimulus going forward. And this is a key piece of data that we need to watch very, very closely. And it's also delayed quite a bit as well. And they've also extracted some of the other data from the findings. And I want to point that out for you here in this video. Now again, if you've been hearing me talk about this over the years, what is one key data point that we need to watch very closely going forward that gives us a big broad look of the overall economy? Now you've heard me say this many times before as well, which is what predicates the approval and distribution of stimulus every single time. It's the economy. Every single time, the economy. What is the broad barometer that we like to look at to see the overall health of the economy? It's the jobs reports. There are jobs reports that come out every single month. Now, obviously, because of the government shutdown in October and the first half of November, well, we're not going to be getting October data. That's gone forever. We will never get that. However, here this coming Tuesday, so next Tuesday, we will be getting November's job data. This is going to be very, very important, because what we've been seeing over the last several months here, basically since, say, June or so, we've been seeing weakening economic data, as in a lot of the economic data coming out, but most notably, the jobs data that's been coming out has been getting weaker and weaker. Maybe the headline number comes out and looks pretty decent, but when they come back months later and they revise it, we've been getting negative numbers. And again, that's not looking all that great for the overall broad economy when we're seeing, well, basically bad jobs numbers, as in people not being hired, people being laid off, and the unemployment rate going up, labor participation rate staying the same, or even going up. Again, not looking good for the overall economy, because you've heard me say this many, many times. When we're in a very strong, robust economy, well, generally, the unemployment rate goes down, jobs are being created, and you see, well, the unemployment rate going down and many, many jobs being created each and every month. We're not seeing that right now. We're seeing very low numbers of jobs being created, as well as we're seeing the unemployment rate moving higher. So, and again, those revisions are also very important. Okay, so long story short, we were supposed to get the November jobs data back, what was it, a week and a half ago or so, give or take a little, the first Friday of the month, whatever that date was. What was that? Is that the 5th or the 7th or something like that? Anyway, the first Friday of the month, I think it was the 5th actually. Is that right? Yeah, it was the 5th. Okay, so we were supposed to get it that day. However, because of the government shutdown, it was delayed, and it's coming out this next Tuesday. Okay. Well, this is going to be very important to watch because, again, do you think that hiring should be strong or weak in the month of November? It should be pretty strong, right? Temporary seasonal help should be coming in for the holiday shopping, right? Right here, right now. Everybody's out spending all kinds of money, right? I don't know. Is anybody spending money right now? Not sure about you. Not really buying anything. I'm not sure if you're out there blowing all kinds of money right now, but I think the vast majority of people are not in that position. We will see. This is going to be the tell for the overall economy right here, right now. The holiday shopping season, as we're supposed to get this license to spend, right? Go out and buy a bunch of junk. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll get right on that, right? Anyway, point being is that if we see a very weak number here coming in for jobs, hiring, unemployment, coming in for the month of November, that's not going to look good at all, okay? Because first off, most of these businesses out there are not going to hire in December. It's too late, right? The holiday shopping season has already started and is basically, multiple days in. We're likely going to see a lot of that hiring in November. And that's supposed to show up on this report here. So this next report we get is going to be very, very important. Not only the November data, but also the revisions for the prior couple months. Are those down? Are they negative? More negative numbers, or where will those numbers come in? Very, very, very important, because again, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, what's most important for a strong economy is strong labor force. Very strong labor force. We're not seeing a strong labor force right now. We're seeing the unemployment rate ticking up. This is the highest unemployment rate that we've seen, by the way, since 2021. Things were not that great in 2021, right? We were still coming out of the shutdowns. Everybody stay at home and live in your pajamas all day and, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, this is the worst numbers that we've seen in quite a few years, right? So anyway, when it comes down to it, remember we could send out $2,000 tariff-induced stimulus checks, as the president wants to do sometime next year or so, as he says, or we could have an economic-induced recession or economic contraction that needs stimulus, right? That's what predicates the distribution of stimulus. I've seen some comments down below over the years where people say things like, well, we've asked and they're not listening. They don't care what we ask. Okay? I'll be 100% fair with you. They don't care how much we ask, how much we beg, how much we, are bugging them to get a stimulus. They couldn't give a rip about that. It's not about us needing it. It's about the economy. When the economy needs stimulus, that is when lawmakers come together and approve these multi-trillion-dollar stimulus packages. They give it some cute little name like the CARES Act, the HEALS Act, the HEROES Act, the American Rescue Plan. These are all a piece of legislation, by the way, that either they introduced or passed a few years ago. 2 of those that I mentioned, they passed, 2 of which they did not. But my point is, they give it some interesting name and then they pass it through. Most of the time, they do include stimulus checks, because they know this is the best and fastest way to get a lot of money into the economy very, very quickly, because they know that if they give us money, what do? We blow it super fast. We take the money and we blow it on stuff. That's what most people do. By the way, I know that those of you here in this community will use it to buy necessities and be very responsible with it, because I know you in this community. I mean, I don't want to act like, oh, I know you like my best friend, but I mean, we kind of know each other. People here in this community spend it on necessities, but the vast majority of the population just blows it on stuff. And that's exactly what they want, right? They want us to take that money and say, here, go spend it on a bunch of junk. They want that because then it stimulates the overall economy. That's what they want. Okay, but anyway, long story short here is that when we get this labor jobs report here coming out on this coming Tuesday, this is going to be a very, very, very good tell on the overall economy. Now, the last report that we got in the middle of November was September's data. Who cares? That was so delayed at that point. Didn't really matter. We didn't get anything for October. Now, this is going to be the most up-to-date report that we're going to be getting here, which is going to be pretty important because it's going to be November. It's still delayed. What is that? I don't know. A week and a half or so. Yeah, 10. Yeah, about a week and a half or so ago, a week and a half from when it was supposed to be released, the first Friday of the month. But nonetheless, late is better than never. And again, we better see a strong report. Otherwise, kiss this economy goodbye. And at that point, it's only a matter of time until we crash and burn. And that's when they print trillions and they push a lot of it out in the form of stimulus. Anyway, this can be a very, very important one, as again, I've said this many, many times. We could see a tariff-induced rebate dividend stimulus as the president wants to do $2,000. That's totally different from an economic-induced recessionary, economic contraction-induced stimulus check to revitalize the economy. 2 very, very different things. Anyway, this report that we get on Tuesday is going to be very, very important to decide the fate of any further stimulus going forward. And I'll tell you this much, the reports that we've been getting out over the last few months have not been all that great. Not very good. Showing a weakening economy, and that's not good, because that leads to economic contraction and a lot of times major recession. Anyway, I'll keep you posted. Again, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. Big subscribe button right down below. Please share the video. Big share button down below. Happy holidays. Thank you so much for joining me again. Stay tuned. It's such a weird time right now. There's a lot of big things happening. Otherwise, take care. Stay tuned. Please subscribe, share the video. both of which are right down below the video. Subscribe and share. Otherwise, check out the other 6,000 plus videos here on the channel in the video library. Until next time, I'll catch you later in the next one, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you.